I went to visit a family, and one of the children told me that, Pastor, I wasn't happy with you because last Sabbath there was no children's story. So because of that, I learned my lesson that I always have to make sure that regardless of how tight time is, there will be something for our children. So in the interest of time, I want to draw the attention to something quickly. Can I have your attention for just a moment? Which part of your body do you like most? This question is to just the children. Which part of your body do you like most? Which part? Can you raise your hand then tell me, which part of your body do you like most? Yes, you can say your heart. Oh, okay. Why do you like your heart most? Your heart is kind. Oh, kind heart. Oh, okay. Who else wants to share with us which part of your body? Okay. Your brain. Why do you like your brain most? Because it's clever. Oh, okay. And then my dear sister right in front of you. Yes, which part of your body do you like most? Your mouth. Your mouth. Why do you like your mouth?
Because you can say kind words.
Because it says kind words. Oh, okay. Oh, there's another one here. Your
eyes.
Eyes. Oh, because you can see with your eyes. Okay. Let me change the question now. Which part of your body that you think you can do without it? Which part of your body that you think, if it's not there, I will be happy, I will be okay? Is there any part of your body that you don't like? Yes?
Hair.
Your hair? Why is it that you don't like your hair?
I like it, but I can live without it.
You know you can do without your hair.
She likes it, but she can do without it.
Oh, okay, you like it, but you can do without your hair. Oh, okay, that is very interesting one. Okay. Any other part of your body that you can do without? Yes, I can see. Your hand. Okay, without your hand, what will happen? You can still walk about with your feet, but...
So she can write with her feet.
Oh, okay. She can write with her feet. Okay. Yes. Your feet. Why? What will happen without your feet?
Because you can always go nowhere. Wheelchair.
You can always go around in wheelchair.
She said wheelbarrow first.
Wheelbarrow. Oh, okay. I don't know who is going to push you around. Okay, I asked this question because in the Bible, if you turn to the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 13 to 19, it talks about the various parts of our body. And the Bible says that for us, the body is one and has many members, but all members of that one body, being many, are one body. So also is Christ. For by one Spirit we are all what? Baptized into one body. Whether Jews or Greek, whether slaves or free, have all been made to drink into one Spirit. For if the foot says, because I'm not a hand and I'm not the body, it is therefore not of the body. Or if the ear should say, because I'm not the eye and I'm not of the body, it is therefore not of the body. So if any part of your body is not there, you will suffer for it. I know that my dear sister said she can do without her hair. But can you turn and look at me? What's her name?
Chanel.
Chanel, you look so beautiful with your hair on. I don't know how I will imagine seeing you without your hair. Because of that, your hair plays a very important part of your body to make you being. So our body, regardless of what, each of them plays a very important part. Likewise, as a church family, we are made of different parts. And each of these parts, we all play our parts to make it complete. Therefore, when we come to church, if we have an elder or a board of elders, their role is not important than the role of anybody else in the church. Because without the role of the deacons and the deaconesses, the church will not be able to function. How many of us have imagined how we ensure that the church is run smoothly without any hitches? How many of us have given a thought, even how this church is clean or the church is open even in the morning? Sometimes we don't consider any of this. We come in and the church will be open. Few years ago, I had a problem at Central where I couldn't find a head deacon to be a key holder. And I went through it for 3 months. And it was a nightmare for me. Late in the night, somebody would call, Pastor, can you come and open the church? Until Brother Fletcher, who volunteered and said, Pastor, I cannot allow this to continue. I'll be a key holder. Then later on, Brother Neyman stepped in. I'm using this illustration to say that we may have different functions in the church, but our role in the church cannot be underestimated. In whatever capacity that we play, being a deacon, being a deaconess, whatever may be your calling is very important to the church. From our lesson study this morning, it touched on my sermon today from the book of Acts chapter 6. Acts chapter 6, if you read verse 1 to 6 or 1 to 7, it talks about the New Testament church. Now in those days when the members of the disciples were multiplying, there arose a complaint against the Hebrews by the Hellenists because their widows were neglected in the daily distribution. Then the 12 summoned the multitude of the disciples and said, it is not desirable that we should leave the word of God and serve tables. Therefore, brethren, seek out from among you 7 men of good reputation, full of the Holy Spirit and wisdom, who may be appointed over this business. But we will give ourselves continually to prayer and to the ministry of the word. And the saying pleased the whole multitude, and they chose the 7 first deacons in the church. If you look at this passage, it simply means that the church is very dynamic. The church is not static. So as we see a need, then we appoint individuals to oversee that need. So in this particular text, they saw the need that the widows of a certain section of the church were being neglected. And therefore they chose the deacons to serve in that capacity. Then if you go further on, they saw the need for them to choose deaconesses who may also serve in the church. When they chose them, specific instructions were given. It says that deacons should be people of good reputation, good character. And I want to give you an outline of 5 important things that have been outlined in this text, and then we will lay our hands on them for the ordination. The first point is that they have to be people of an exemplary life. So Brother Glenn, Brother McIntosh, and Sister Campbell, the church have seen it fit that you are people of good example. That is why you have been chosen. Therefore, the expectation is that you serve with dignity. Our deacons and deaconesses need to be good examples in both in the church and in the community. In terms of attendance, example in stewardship, example in terms of prayer, example in terms of Bible studies, example in terms of witnessing, and in all, God expects you to be a good example in everything that you do. Because at the moment, ordination simply means that you are being set aside for holy use. So your life should be an example to others. Sometimes you may be tried, you may be challenged. And I always use the case study of Moses, that to lead the children of Israel is not the easiest task. to serve Seventh-day Adventist members is not the easiest. Because we call ourselves the spiritual Israel. And we have the same attitude of the physical Israel. So difficult, so awkward. Sometimes people can be rude. But in the midst of all that, God requires of you to be a good example to them in humility as you continue in your task. It is very important that you always have it at the back of your mind of your calling. Why have you been called? And as a pastor, this is not just to you only, the three of you, but to us all in every capacity. As a pastor, sometimes I have a quick temper and I sit in the board meeting and somebody can be rude to me and I wish I can give them my peace of mind. And sometimes I will hold the pen and I'll be hitting the table like that, trying to control myself. Because if I'm not careful, what I may say may come back to haunt me. So you may be in a position where you are in a capacity to act, but the love of God constrains you. And that is what God requires of you. Because sometimes people may look at you and may say all kinds of things, but when you look at the reason why you have been called, then it changes everything. So first and foremost, be a good example. The second point is be an encourager. Because if you look at the text, the text says that the widows of the Gentiles, the Greeks, were discouraged. They were frustrated because their needs have not been met. Therefore, one of the qualities that they looked into for these 7 individuals who were chosen were people who were able to encourage people who were downhearted. Because if somebody is frustrated, if somebody wants to leave the church, if somebody doesn't want to come to church anymore, and you are to visit them, you need to have the wisdom to be able to encourage them, to be able to let them know that regardless of what has happened, we still love them and we care. Without this gift, it becomes difficult for you to be able to encourage somebody who is downhearted. Sometimes we come to church and somebody can offend another person easily. And as soon as that happens, they decide not to come back to church again. And the role of the deacon and the deaconess is for you to look up to these individuals, to be able to support them. So be a good encourager. Try your best to lift them up. Because the widows were very frustrated. They were discouraged. Their needs were not being met. So when the 7 were chosen, they needed to lift their spirit, to let them know that you are part of the family. We love you. And we care. A story is told of an athlete. Some of you may be familiar with this story by the name Derek Redmond, a 28-year-old British runner who was in the semi-finals in the 400 meters in 1992 Summer Olympic Games in Barcelona. He had disciplined himself and dedicated himself to a rigorous training routine for this monumental event. He thought that he had a good shot at the gold medal, and the least he expected to win was the silver medal. He ran at the first bend in the lead. Suddenly, he felt a sharp pain at the back of his leg. He fell to the track in agony, grabbing his torn hamstring, but his hope of winning was gone. Hopelessly out of contention, he struggled forward to complete the race. The determination that he had gotten to Barcelona had pegged the word quit from his vocabulary. So nothing was going to discourage him from quitting the race. As Derek hopped down the final stretch, a rather large man in a t-shirt, khaki pants, and a ball cap emerged from the crowd and grandstand. In the middle, the man rushed inside the truck. The security men were trying their best to stop him, but none of them were able to stop him. The older man was Jim Redmond, the father of the injured runner. Arm in arm and shoulder in shoulder, they stayed in Derek's lane and persevered to the end. By the time they had reached the finish line, the security guards and everybody backed off because they saw the determination in the man's eyes. The other runners had turned to see this display of encouragement and the fatherly love. Every eye in the crowd turned upon the dramatic scene. Practically every spectator was standing in the awe of this tender moment in this Olympic history. Now the focus was not even on the winner or those who got a medal. Derek Redmond didn't walk away with the gold medal, but he walked away with an incredible memory of a father who provided a support and encouragement at perhaps the most difficult moment in his life. Be an encourager, encourage the team, encourage the members. In Hebrews chapter 10, where the Bible says, let us consider one another to provoke unto love and to good works, not forsaking the assembling of ourselves together, as the manner of some is, but exhorting one another. Let us exhort one another. As a deacon, when somebody comes to you, when you are talking to that person, you don't know the experience. As a pastor, I've learned it so much that sometimes when somebody comes to you and you say to them, how are you? And they smile and say, oh, happy Sabbath. Within their heart, there will be hurt. So we need to be very careful what we say to others. As deacons, be an encourager. Words of comfort, words of uplifting, words of exhortation, so that you can put a smile back on somebody's face. Because you don't know the experience. Last week, during the midweek prayer, I shared my own story of a family that encouraged me so much, because at that moment in my life, I was so downhearted. I had a rough board meeting, and after the board meeting, I sat in my car and I was so discouraged. I didn't know what to do. And in such moment, to drive home was even a difficult thing for me. I sat in the car on the roadside in Bonville. Those of you who know Bonville, if you come out of Calgary, coming to Selyoak, I park on the roadside for a moment. And then after almost 30 minutes, I managed to drive myself home to Warsaw. When I got home, I decided that my next visit on the following morning, I was going to cancel it because I couldn't put myself together to visit. I was so discouraged. I questioned myself, am I in the right business? Am I in the right job, or I should look for something else? But on that same fateful morning, I decided that no, this family has done nothing. This is a long-standing visit, and I cannot call it off. I sat in my car, I drove to the house. When I got to the house, they were ready waiting for me. And they've prepared all kinds of food because they said they didn't know what I would like. So they had different dishes on the table. And then they had a gift for me and everything, and they said, Pastor, we want to use this occasion to tell you how we appreciate your ministry, how we love you. We've never had this opportunity to tell you, but we want to tell you today that we love you so much. When I left that house on my way home, I completely forgot about my business board meeting and everything. There was a smile on my face, and I've never looked back since that day. I'm using this to say to you, as you are being ordained today, be an encourager. Put a smile on somebody's face, because you never can tell what you are going through. So your call of duty is not only in the church where you put things together to make sure that the church looks good. You are going to have a one-to-one interaction with members, contact with members. What words are you going to say to them? When you want to take a chair from a place and somebody insisting that you are not taking that chair, and you believe that the chair is blocking the way and it needs to be taken away, how are you going to deal with that? In your normal sense, you can say to them, it's my duty to do this. But doing so, what will be the outcome? I want to assure you today, allow the Spirit of God to give you wisdom, so that whatever you do will uplift the spirit of others and be an encourager. The next point is engage people. As deacons, you need to engage. You need to engage in ministry. You need to be involved in ministry. That is why the deacons were selected in the first place, to be ministers, to be servants. Your call of duty is to visit the sick. Seek for the need. And I know that Brother Horatio and Sister Yvonne are part of the visitation team. They are doing it already, and you are all part of it already. But that is what you've been called to do. Don't wait until the pastor comes. And I know that some members, when they visit, and the first question they ask the person in the hospital is, has pastor been here? No, you are going on behalf of the church. It's a pastoral visit. You are visiting on behalf of the church. So if somebody is sick, and you're able to visit, and the elder has not been, you still visit on behalf of Bilston SDA Adventist Church. And that is what the Lord requires of you. So engage in ministry, take active part in every aspect of this church life. The next point is enthusiasm. As you go through your work, put a smile on your face. There are some people that when you are serving, if you look at their face, you don't even want anything from them. But the joy, how you go about it, changes everything. The enthusiasm, I hope you get fired up after being ordained today. I want this coming year 2019, as we move on to this year, to be a joyous year for Bilston SDA Adventist Church. Regardless of what, we all serve with vigor, with a smile on our face. When you come to the Wednesday's soup kitchen, and you look at the people who comes in there, how happy they are. And I said to myself, I wish when we come to church, we can be as happy as them. They come in there and they are so happy and they'll be shouting and they'll be... And I'm saying, last time when I was here, I looked at them and I said, I wish every Saturday would be like this. So if they are having a contact with us for just a short time and they are so excited, and we cannot be like that. We should, because the God that we serve has promised us that He will always be there for us. And that is what God requires of us. Regardless of our situation, God is always going to be in charge. And let me say this, as you serve the Lord, you may not receive a reward from members. You may not receive a reward from the pastor. From my ministry, from my experience in ministry, the harder I work, the more criticism I receive. The week that I think I've put in a shift, I've visited, I've done so many things, then somebody can see you and says, Pastor, what do you do after all? You've done nothing. But don't be discouraged. Because you are not doing it for anybody to see. You are doing it for God. And God is the only one who is going to reward you when He comes back again. That is the focus. And the last point is that endure to the end. When you are being ordained to the office of a deacon, you are being ordained not just for the term that you've been called to serve, but it's a lifetime. This church has selected you to be a deacon. You have had a chance to serve already. You've prayed about it. And it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not something that you're going to finish within a short time. It's a lifetime. So endure. That is why Paul says that I've fought the fight. I've won the race. Finish the course. There await for me is what? Crown of life. And that is what you need when you wait for that day when Christ shall come. The Bible says that be faithful until death, and thou shalt receive the crown of what? Life. I hope that through the years you continue to make yourself available to services as deacon and deaconesses. It's very important, and I want to charge your families also, Sister Dorothy and Sister Carol and other family members, please work together as a team. That is why I said you need to sit together, because it's a family thing. It's a teamwork. When we need Brother Glenn to serve late in the night, when Brother Horatio needs help here as a head deacon and he needs to call Brother Glenn late in the night, maybe 11 p.m. or 1 a.m., and Sister Carol says, Brother Glenn, my dear, you are not going anywhere. He's not leaving the house. Sister Dorothy says to Brother Donald, my dear, it's too risky to leave the house at this time. I'm not ready to lose my husband. It's not going to happen. But if Sister Dorothy says that, my dear, I'll come with you. I don't want you to even go on your own. I've had so many instances where late in the night I'll be called and Winnie will come with me. Sometimes she will sit in the car, wait for me at the car park whilst I go into the hospital, do whatever I'm there for, and then come back and we go home. Because she says, I cannot take the risk for you to leave the house on your own. So it's a teamwork, and it's my prayer that the good Lord is going to bless you as you serve Him. Don't look at me for a reward. Don't look at the elders. Don't look at the membership. Look at God, who has called you. And He has given us His word that He will never fail us. He will never forsake us. In times of trouble, call on Him, go down your knees, and God is going to be there for you. And to us as members, I want to challenge you that you are being ordained today. Let us cooperate with them. Let us work with them. Let us be good spiritual Israel. Because we all know what happened to Moses. When Moses got frustrated, Moses was questioned, why have you even brought us out of Egypt? We were far better off in Egypt than for you to bring us out here in this wilderness. You brought us here for us to die. I know they are going to complain the same way, but I want to challenge you. Let us work with them, support them, encourage them. And even when they have done well, let us say thank you to them.
Amen.
And that will motivate them as they continue to serve. May the Lord bless us all. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.